So today we're going to talk about comparing and ordering rational numbers. Previously, we talked about changing rational numbers, percents to decimals, decimals to percents, fraction to percents, percents to fractions, fraction to decimal, and decimal to fraction. Now, you may be saying, why did we do that in the previous video? Well, to compare and order rational numbers, the first thing they must have is they must have the same format. So what do I mean by that? Let me show you an example, okay? So we have the fraction 2/5, okay? And we want to compare it to the decimal 0.60, okay? Well, right now we can't compare these rational numbers because one is a fraction and one is a decimal. So they both have to be in the same format. So I can leave 2/5, but I must change this to a fraction. So look, this becomes your numerator. The place value of that is 100. I am then going to reduce. I'm going to knock out those zeros, so that becomes 6/10. And then I'm going to reduce by 2. And so I get 3/5. Okay? So I know that 3/5 is bigger than 2/5. So I know that this is bigger. Now, if you don't like doing fractions, you can say, oh, this is 2/5. I'm going to keep this decimal the same, but I'm going to change this into a decimal. 5 divided by 2.0. 5 doesn't go into 2, but 5 goes into 20. I bring up my decimal. And so now I'm looking at 0.4 as it relates to 0.6, and we know 0.6 is larger. Okay? So remember the rules for comparing and ordering fractions. That means that you must be in the same format. Then you can compare. And then you must put it back to the original format. So let's look at some. Let's look at -2, -11/5, 2, and 12/7. Okay? Well, here's what we can say. We can say when we're ordering that these negatives are my least number. Okay? You have to remember, the further down the number line, the lower it is. So we know that -2 will be least. Okay? Now here's our problem. This is a fraction and this is a fraction. So before I start, I want to make those into decimals. So I'm going to say 5 into 11 becomes 2, 10. It becomes 2.2, negative. Okay? 12/7, 1750, 1.77, 1.71. Okay? Now I can put them all in order because I'm looking at -2, -2.2, 2, and 1.7. So which one of these will be my least number? Which one is further down the number line? So further down the number line is going to be -2.2. Then will come -2, 1.71, and 2. Okay, when I do that, I will need to put this back in a regular order. So it becomes negative 11/5. Okay, negative 2, 12/7, and 2. Okay, I like to change everything to decimals, but you can change it to whatever you feel comfortable. Okay, so let me do another quick example to make sure that you understand how to compare rational numbers. Okay, so let's take a look at 15% and 1/5. Now, we're either going to change this to a percent or we're going to change this to a fraction. I would suggest I'm going to do it both ways for you. This becomes 15 over, that percent sign means 100. Can I reduce by 5? I get 3/20 compared to 1/5. Okay? So now you can't compare them because they don't have the same denominator. So you can say, I'm going to change my denominator to 4/20. So that means that this is bigger. Now that's a lot of extra steps. What you can do is you can take and leave 15% the same. Okay? Now I can take 1/5 and make it a percentage by using a proportion. I'm going to say 5x equals 100. And so x equals 20%. So 1/5 is the same as 20%. So that means that is the answer. Remember, these are your 3 rules that you must do. Put them in the same format, okay? Compare and put them back into the original format. Please review the video prior to this one so that you can figure out how to convert everything to the same format. Again, thank you for watching.